Some pages from Night Owl and other retro BBS and Teletext CFAX services provided courtesy of Brian Martin. Once again, thank you very much, Brian, for taking the time to do that. A slight correction on the address for Night Owl. It's now nightowlbbs.ddns.net on port 6400, and there is now 2 web clients available. I won't read those out there, but they are on your screen. So the new one is the VD View web client, which I have actually been using the past week quite successfully. Apologies for the slight delay in getting going this evening. A very warm welcome. You are with Wi-Fi Sheep live on YouTube. The time has just about to go. 11 minutes past 8. Hello everybody, good evening and a very warm welcome back to youtube.com/Wi-Fi Sheep live with another edition, episode 6 of season 3 of 8 Till Late, right here live on the channel. Once again, my apologies for the slightly delayed start.
a mixture of basically not being ready and having some weird technical glitch where YouTube said it was streaming, and then it kind of decided that it wasn't streaming, and I was just like, right. So I've been sitting there for 3 minutes, and nothing was going out to you. So if you were waiting there, apologies. This does occasionally happen. And no, Martin, it was absolutely not the chickens. They went to roost a couple of hours ago prior. But many of you will remember, mainly from season 2 last year, that as the spring creeps in and the nights get longer, there's always that time where the chickens are going to roost literally as I'm trying to go live. It's like, right. And then till we get to the point where I've gone live, we've done an hour, then it gets 9 o'clock and I have to disappear off and shut the chickens up for the night. But we're a few weeks off from that yet. Anyway, how you doing? Great to have your company. Been generally looking forward to this one tonight. Had a few, what can I say, really interesting, positive chats and conversations with a few fellow enthusiasts. And it's kind of inspired me a bit more. Not that I was lacking in inspiration before, but I was kind of like, last week was a bit of a drag for me. This week I'm like, yeah, actually I want to do some project work. And it kind of occurred to me that now we're kind of out of Christmas and New Year, work has started again. And I'm thinking, I've got shows and events coming up, some of them quite soon. And I kind of need to start thinking about getting content ready again. So that's what we're going to do tonight. Tonight, in a few moments' time, we're going to look at BBC Micros. And I'll just show you what I've got here on the desk, actually. So part of the delay was I wanted to get this little TFT monitor running, and for the life of me, I could not. Does not look that dusty to me. But anyway, for the life of me, I could not find the power transformer, and I couldn't remember if it's positive, center positive or center negative. So I just needed a very quick, cheap composite signal. So got out the old Raspberry Pi 1, that's my original. RISC OS, ironically, Acorn, which is very fitting. And I'm just shoving that for a PAL composite feed so I can see what we've got, what I'm dealing with. So I know that works. And I found a power supply, which ironically, I think we bought those when we were doing the Project Rio build. The power supply I'm using, it's just off camera over here. But yeah, so basically for the work we're going to do tonight, I was just going to hook the Beeb up to this, run it through composite video so we can see what I'm attempting to do. So basically here on the live stream, we're going to be looking at the BBC Master. I'm then going to start, I've got another project which I shot a little bit of film, started recording today. Another major rebuild restoration video for another Acorn machine. I'm also thinking about servicing the Cub and the CRT monitors again, because I've not used those in years, some of them over 5-6 years now, and the capacitors aren't great. I've got one where I've had vertical collapse, sorry. So you've just got like a line across the centre of the screen, which isn't good, so I need to try and fix that. Yeah, but what I will say is, because of the kind of dangerous nature of CRTs, high voltage and stuff, I'm not going to be doing CRT repairs live this evening, because I know that, as hilarious as that would be, and it'd probably be fantastic for the ratings, I kill myself live on air. It's safer to do it obviously as a record, so I can actually have it, think about what I'm trying to do and do it safely, rather than kind of fumbling along here live. So I think the CRTs, I mean, I'm thinking about, there's a show which I can't officially talk about yet coming up in the Midlands in March. It's a new, well, it's tapping onto something else, but it's a new retro computer show. I've also seen, as it was brought to my attention, that the National Museum of Computing, get it right, National Museum of Computing, Bletchley Park, are having their Acorn Ethernet network event again. I went to the to the first one. I didn't go to the second, and then I'm umming and ahhing about going to the third one. So yeah, but basically the only machine I have is one of my BBC Master 128s that had an Ethernet card in it. I've actually been sorting the 128s out this evening for us to look at, and the Ethernet card isn't in the machine. So what did I do with the Ethernet card? I've been kind of, stumbling around trying to find stuff. I found a few things actually. So before we get on, let's just go back. I'll just show you these very quick. So first of all, brand new BBC Micro RGB DIN to SCART, which you can see when I bought that 2016, still in packet. So I've got a few of these around, and I've obviously now just found another one which I bought and forgot I had. This, which I'm going to guess is obviously a BBC Micro audio cassette cable, which I don't remember having either. And then, and don't ask me where these came from because I honestly haven't a clue. So, check this out. This is a manual for The Hobbit from Melbourne House Software cassette. I don't have the cassette, but I seem to have a manual for it. We've then got Football Manager on tape, BBC. There we are. I honestly don't know how or when I acquired these. I just found these there, I have no idea. Another football game for, is that BBC or is that Electron? BBC and Electron. Don't know what that is. Just says reproduction is strictly prohibited. Okay, 1983. BBC Micro Model B. Okay. And oh no, there we are. The Hobbit. Okay, right, there we are. So those tapes probably haven't ran, if they're any good, haven't ran in, I don't know, 35, 40 years. So I had no idea I had them. That might be fun to look at. We can get a tape deck running. Yeah, so we found that random stuff, which I now need to put somewhere without clogging up. There we are. Right, just have a quick look at the chat. So I will say good evening to Richard Webb. Says Ethernet machines aren't a requirement for the LAN party. All acorns are welcome. Oh, I'm pleased to hear that. Well, I'm hoping I can get my LAN. Hang on. There we go. I'm hoping I can get my Ethernet card back in the machine. It's somewhere. I've taken it out for a reason. I can't remember why I've taken it out, but I do, well, because I'm hoping to get one or two other machines set up. It might. I did think about, could I bring like a second machine, Acorn machine, that wouldn't have the Ethernet in it, but could just sort of, if I remember the main room it was set up in at the museum Bletchley, there was like a bench along the back of the room, if I remember. Yeah, there's a bench at the back of the room. I think it had like the sort of drinks and stuff on it at one end, but I know there's one or two like wrist PCs and things sat on that. So I'm just thinking I might bring like an additional machine along and sort of just sit it on there for people to play with, kind of thing. So I'm just contemplating if I'm going to do, because it's summer, it's June when it's happening. Work will be quieter, and I think it's on a weekend anyway. So I'm contemplating. The last time I did it 2 years ago, I only did the Sunday. I'm contemplating actually staying over. So, oh, Rich says the room has been refurbished. Is it really twice the size now? Have they knocked through into the other side then, or something? Okay, that's interesting. Okay, cool. Yeah. So I've just contemplated if I'm going to make a weekend of it and stop over. Yeah, which I might do. So I've got to make a decision. But yeah, when the tickets go live for that, I'll be interested. Now I want to say hello to Daniel Garrod. Hello everyone and welcome from the Jolly Roger BBS. Yes. Now, Daniel, I was hoping I was going to hear from you again actually. So Daniel contacted me before, oh God, it's before Christmas. It was before we did the last Cambridge show actually. To sort of introduce me to the Jolly Roger BBS, which is a nautical themed BBS running on. Did you say, you'll have to chime in, Daniel, if you're still there? Is it Acorn Archimedes? Was it RISC PC or Modern Hard? I can't remember what you said it was running on, but it was something Acorn. And I did have a quick look. I hadn't registered for it, but I did have a quick look, and I was hoping that, because obviously we're featuring Night Owl quite heavily at the moment. But I was all the merrier for adding more BBSs, especially as I want to do another BBS live special here on one of our 8 till 8. So, Daniel, if you are watching, do feel free to just email me back again. I'm very, very happy to talk to you about that, actually. There we are. Acorn Risk Arrest. All right, yes. I remember, I'm trying to remember what you said, but yes. No, do drop me a line again, please. I do want to have a chat with you about that and do a feature. Because that's one thing I'm thinking about doing, is I was having a chat with Brian about how the serial interfacing between his BBC Micros and the Raspberry Pi modem that basically creates the path. So when you go to Night Owl BBS, you actually dial into a BBC Micro that generates it. So yeah, and people in the chat distracting me. And I was just curious about how that works. I was thinking about not necessarily setting up a BBS on my own, but I would like to play with this terminal protocol stuff a bit more. And I was just asking about how the serial communications work, and I've been looking into it. So I'm kind of thinking that'll be another project. Too many projects, too many things I want to do now. It's terrible. Plus all the stuff I said we were going to do. But it's funny. It's what motivates me at the moment. And I'm just kind of thinking, because my time is so short, I'm like, with work commitments, I'm just thinking, right, and this show's coming up, probably need to get the Acorn kit ready. But so the PC pit, that's a new person. Currently sat here watching my daughter playing Flip on my Model B. Flip. I might have seen that. I'm not sure. It doesn't ring a bell. Anyway, well, thank you for chiming in. You're most welcome. Yeah. So what I need to get BBC Micro set up, because there's this sort of space here where one sits. Also, both these, which I built, these stands, if you like, for you put your monitor and your beam underneath. They're made out of oh god, whatever, B&Q or something like that. I think they're a B&Q, like shelves that I cut in half and made these things. And the one I've actually nicked for the 3D printer, which is full of stuff at the moment. So that's one I've nicked for another purpose. Oh dear, there we go. Did that. Sorry everyone, made you feel sick. Right, and that's the second that kind of, yeah, we need to get a bead back. Anyway, right. So, let's just pop down. So let's just turn this off. Take the Pi out. Let's zoom all the way out. Which is something like that. Again, manual cameras don't have an autofocus, but come on, stay in focus. There we go, something like that. Okay. Because of the fisheye nature of the lens on this, you're going to look a little bit distorted, but just sort of pretend it's going somewhere. So that's the composite cable. I haven't got any color mods, so what we'll do is we're going to go RCA to BNC connector, and hopefully we've got enough space here, but this is going to take up a lot of room. So let's have a look at some BBC Master Systems. Oh, it just fits. It just fits. These are big machines, so... Right. So this is, we'll say number one. It's not technically number one, but this is the first one we're going to look at. And this one is probably in the poorest of conditions. We're missing a key. And though it doesn't show up particularly on camera, the top is quite scratched up. It is dirty, this one. And inside, now I think from memory I did rob the, so they're all loose, and I did take off the power supplies because the power supplies need servicing. I know where those are. PCB screws, I think I remember where those are. I'm not sure. We may have to buy some new PCB screws, but this is the board inside. Now this is the one that had the standoffs. This where I found the Ethernet card, the networking card, which I took out of this and put into, with the ROM, put into the other machine, which I'll show you in a minute, and that's the one I went to show. So this, I'm kind of thinking, is probably going to be my Spurs, BBC Master Spurs. For those of you who don't know, there's two types of BBC Micro, basically. Well, that technically is free, but there's the BBC Model B, Model A, which is the smaller, slightly smaller wedge unit, which has the keyboard, it's like just that bit without the pad. And those came out 81 to 86. Then you had the BBC Masters, which is what this is. And the Masters, so we went from 32, 16K in a Model A, 32K in a more common Model B. There was a Model B Plus, which had 64K. Then we moved into this form factor with the BBC Master 128, 128K, which is what this is. And then you had the BBC Master 512, which had the additional co-processor for running, had an Intel co-processor inside for running PC-DOS software. So this is an absolute stock machine. Again, I'm thinking this is probably going to be my Spurs, as it's the one in the least best condition. Although it's not terrible. Oh dear, that's broke. It's not terrible by any stretch of the imagination. So that's that one. It's just the case is probably the most yuckiest. Right. The next one is here. Right, now this is in considerably cleaner and better condition. It is missing the glazing panel. Although saying that, we could just take the glazing panel out of the Spurs machine. This is one I'm more likely to want to try and get running. We just take the top. So again, power supply out, PCB screws not in. This one, keyboard is disconnected. Keyboard is complete. No corrosion on the metal I can see. Most importantly, it's the same on the other one, the ROM. The one single EEPROM, which is needed for the combined basic operating system, disk controller, or filing system rather, and I believe there was some software built in as well, all on this one EEPROM. So you have to have the EEPROM in the machine. It's just one on the 128s. Other than that, it's a very clean, tidy looking machine. This one you can see it's never had the Ethernet card fitted. It does have this very weird switch, which is non-standard, and it runs to here. I don't know what this switch does, but as this is the video area, so you have the RF modulator box for generating, well, you see UHF, RF, the TV out. You've got, it's very corroded, you've got the BNC for mono video, keep on saying colour, mono video, and then you've got the RGB. So it makes me think this is something to do with, is it a mod for colour switch? Oh, tell you what, it could be. It could be for colour switching. So that might switch into mono and colour. I've never powered this machine up to know for sure, but generally speaking, these are quite reliable. They're certainly very well built, the 128s. So I'm thinking this is a candidate for getting back up and running basically and adding to the exhibition fleet. You'll see here it says battery connector. This is not my writing, black and red. Batteries is what we're going to look at in the third machine, which, let's just pop this one back. In the third machine, which is the machine that I basically only ever had one 128 ever running. I did refurbish one on the channel a long time ago and I sold that one on. So these three are what I've got left. So I have had 4 accidents. So this was the first one that was ever given to me. I'm quite lucky that I've never bought these machines. They've all been given to me. Or I think I had like 3 of them for 20 quid or something ridiculous. So this is the first one that's given to me. And this is the one that has been used on the channel. It's gone out to shows. And this is one I've cleaned up, refurbished. I never retro-brighted it, by the way. So it's just this sort of colour. You can see it's got, when I was running as ident computer, it's got the custom tab badge in it, or strip that I made. Yeah. So we take this one off. This is the one that normally sits behind me. So it normally sits there. And it's not been there for a while. So inside, this has the power supply. The power supply has been serviced in as much as the reefer caps, which are the smoothing capacitors between live and ground, have been changed, because these are the things that classically blow up in BBCs, Macintoshes, Apple IIs. So those have changed, but nothing else in the supply has been changed. And we are getting to that point kind of in the BBC Micro life cycle that if you're going to keep the original power supplies, you do need to now change all the caps. I'm probably not going to do that at the moment, but I am getting into that space where I need to do that. So this machine, because this is the one it's meant to be working, has some additional extras. First of all, you'll notice it's got a full suite of ROMs in here, so there's additional software. This is where the Connect card was meant to go, and God knows where that card's gone. I need to find it. But this is the machine that also went out 2 years ago to Bletchley Park. It's been to Bletchley a couple of times, actually, for various things. It also had the Raspberry Pi internal PiTube Direct CoPro. So you could have one that fitted externally. We had one fitted internally. And this was for a Raspberry Pi to fit inside and act as a second co-processor, basically turning this 128 into a 512, a virtual 512, if you like, allowing you to do the Intel stuff. And do you remember we ran Gem? There's a couple of videos on it now where I ran Gem operating system. I'm just noticed I'm missing a screw on my power supply. Yeah, but we ran Gem and we were able to run PC and DOS games. We had a click and point graphical user interface. So that was this card. Just take that out. And underneath, there's this card. This replaces the ULA, and it's one of Rob Coleman's video NULA cards. Basically, it's a new custom ULA card for the BBC. It works in the Model A, B, and the Master. So I've got one fitted here. I think Rob gave me this as well, if I remember. I remember I bought one. I think he sent me another one for free, which is very kind to him at the time. So basically, it emulates and recreates the BBC Micro's video out, but it also gives you additional colours. So we go from 8 colours to possibility like 4096 or something. We also have additional screen modes, higher resolution colour screen modes. So it's a really, really cool card. Plus that it does away with the failing ULAs that BBC Micro suffer from. If I just lift this card out, you'll see that it's basically replaces what would have been a standardized chip. Now you'll notice with basically all the chips bar the EEPROMs, all the ICs are actually soldered onto the motherboard. So with the Model A, Model Bs, it was a mixture of socketed and direct soldered chips. with the BBC Master 128s, everything, more or less everything, bar the ROMs, is just soldered in without sockets. And you do need to take out the original ULA in order to fit video NULA. Hence why I took it out and I fitted this socket in at the time. And now we can retrofit that. And yeah, you have to be a bit careful what you're doing with that. I think there's a video when I fitted it into this. I think it's a long time ago. Now, as for what's going on here, I think at the time with this crocodile clip, I think I was jumping color composite. Yeah, I think I was jumping color composite as a bit of a cheap, dirty trick, which, yeah, it kind of works, but I probably need to solder that. Well, I will need to solder that back on before we can get a video out. Now, the machines, or BBC Masters, have battery backup. Bit of a story about this. So, originally the design was that they were going to have a lithium power cell, which was going to be here. And if I just take this plastic housing up, you can see, hopefully you can just make out, but it's not very clear, I'm afraid, there's a plus and a minus in the plastic. So originally there was a battery compartment and the battery sat in there. Apparently these batteries actually exploded and caught fire. So Acorn withdrew that and made a modification, which was a sort of a bag of soldered together Duracell AA batteries, which they then plugged in on the side and shoved the bag underneath the keyboard. That obviously goes bad, but unlike later Acorn products where they had batteries soldered directly onto motherboards that leaked everywhere and destroyed them, we're coming to that in a video shortly on the channel, so do stay tuned / subscribe to make sure you don't miss that. But basically what they did is when these leaked, it kind of just leaked in, it was just AA's leaking into a bag, so it didn't destroy these. So these, generally speaking, aren't destroyed by battery leakage in the same way that later machines are. This is the socket which goes on here. Now this keeps the settings, so the BBC Master has to have a backup to run. The issue I'm getting is that I had it running fine. I changed and did a bit of a cobble job to get the battery pack, which we'll have a look at in a minute, and it was all working fine. But then I keep turning it on and I've lost all my settings. All my settings, basically. And it's really, really frustrating. And it's not just a simple case of one or two little type-ins. It's quite a long list of stuff you've got to type back in. And it's keep happening and happening. I thought the batteries were dead. When I looked at the batteries, they were like MacLeod branded. And I was like, well, they probably need changing. Changing them for a new set. And it still doesn't hold the settings. So this machine just about held it together 2 years ago for the Ethernet Network event at the National Computer Museum, Bletchley Park. But since then, it's just become very unreliable. And I really need to get this machine back up and running. So I think with its second processor card, which we'll look at as well, this one will be good for the designated GEM, click and point GEM operating system. The better of the two that I showed you previous, I want to set that up because there was a fantastic port done a little while ago of Stunt Car Racer 3000, which was ported over, which for the BBC Micro only works really on the 128, and it needs various things setting, including the shadow RAM, which you need to set. I think the shadow ROM as well. And it needs to load things up. So I want to have one machine just dedicated to running that as a stock machine, and this one with all the fancy additional pieces potentially running as the I've lost words now. Running as the DOS machine. That way around, the other way around, not sure yet. But basically what I'm saying to you is I kind of need to get two up and running. So I think the first thing to do is, we're not going to get a video with this cut here. Can't remember why I did. I think it was trying to do a cheap and dirty colour mod. These, by the way, don't have the ability to bridge. So this is a revision 1 Master 128 board. I think what I showed you in the other machine, he says, let's have a look. We'll just pile them on top of each other. So I think what I showed you in the other machine is revision 2. Yes, it is. And revision 2 has this little jumper here. So I'm convinced that's actually for colour switching, you know. Because that, yeah, I'm absolutely convinced. So if I just pull the machines back, so yeah, you can see there is actually, if I just line them up, there we go, you can see there's a difference between, not a lot, but there's a difference between the layout here, which has this additional jumper. So there's an additional jumper just here, which isn't present here. And that's the difference between the two revisions. So this is a slightly newer revised board. So again, a reason to have, you know, it'd be nice to have both variations running. The reason I did so much work modding this first revision is this was the only machine I had at that time, so it just made sense. But these are also very, very big, cumbersome machines to move around. I did see, and I think it was on the Acorn Enthusiast Facebook group, somebody had a BBC Master. I said these machines are desirable for the 8-bit era. They had a BBC Master PCB motherboard actually inside a Model B case, inside a Model B computer, sort of traditional earlier BBC Micro Wedge. So it kind of brought the size of the machine down by a little bit. And I kind of thought that was quite ingenious. I wonder how they got the keyboard to work. Because, of course, this keyboard you've got, although they look similar, they are not the same layout by any stretch of imagination. So you have this additional pad here. They haven't quite worked out how arrow keys work yet. That's non-standard across all the BBC range. Well, up until you got to the Archimedes, when it did start to standardise. But this is kind of just before. This is the last, basically, before we switched from the 6502 8-bit derivatives over to what's technically 32-bit, but it was actually working at 26-bit ARM, which is what the first Archimedes line of machines, which came in Wedge and also standalone desktop format. There was a desktop version of the Master called what was it called? BBC Master Compact, that was it, which had a completely different form factor and a separate keyboard, although the computer was actually in the keyboard and the base unit was literally just the power supply and the sort of 1 or 2 embedded floppy drives. But you could actually sit your monitor on top of the base unit and the keyboard was separate, but you had to have both because it was, as I said, the actual computer was inside the keyboard. Right, so I think what we'll do first is, I've got the soldering iron. It's off camera, it's just here. There we go. So let's just get the soldering iron fired up. I'm feeling another cup of tea coming on here, but let's just fire it up. Oh. By the way, for those of you in the chat who don't know, Richard is probably one of the experts when it comes to BBC Micros, so puts anything I say to shame. So having you on board this evening, Richard, is most appreciated. The Master has an unpopulated header that takes a BBC. Oh, does it? The Master has an unpopulated header that takes a BBC B style keyboard, although you also need to remove the keyboard encoder chip, which is the large chip just above the 2 BBC. What, this one? Okay. Oh yeah, it does. Oh wow. Okay, yeah. Right, yeah. Well, cheers for that. There you are. I've learned something. I'm going to show you this. Right. So, is that how it was done then? I mean, you know, I'm tempted to do that myself, but because I was looking at that and I was really, really intrigued as to how that worked. Right. So, if I just take these two off. So, And careful not to pull things apart. So these are the headers that the keyboard goes into, and this is the encode. Oh no, that's not the encoder chip. It's look under the master keyboard cables. Yeah, I see. Right, I'm gonna have to just Actually, you can see better than I can. So that there is actually a pin header for taking the slightly earlier, more compact BBC Micro Model B. Ah, wow. Okay, that's cool. I don't know. Yeah. So which one is the encoder chip then? Is it this one here, or is it this one up here? Because there's the little IC here, encoder chip. So you need to do encoder chip, which is the large chip above. Oh, sorry, yeah, large chip above the keyboard cables. Do you have to replace the encoder with something else then, or was it just out of circuit? And is that enough? That is, I wondered how they did that, you know. That is cool. Yeah. It's tempting. I'm not going to lie to you. It's tempting to do it. Probably make a mess though. But yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, right. Yeah, well, cheers for that. Anyway, it's large for it's to the right connect. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's a large. This one here. There might be a bit of a delay actually. So something not right with the stream of YouTube tonight. So there could be more of a delay between me talking and you actually hearing it. Because normally the latency isn't too bad, but I think tonight there's a bit of a delay. So just remove it and leave it out. Oh gosh. Well, thanks. Well, thank you for that information. Generally, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I did. Do you know, I honestly didn't know that. But now you look at it, it's kind of really obvious. I'm just waiting the soldering iron to heat up. I should have got this heated up before we started, really. Let's just grab some flux. Actually, do you know what? Before we do I'm actually going to desolder rather than solder, because I want to take the PCB out, because I want to just check the underside of it. Because of this job I did here, which was done quite a few years ago, and I may have made a bit of a fatal error. So I just need to check something. So let's just take this out. Some lovely lead solder now. Let's just heat this up, take this out of so you need to disconnect both sides of that VNC connector from the inside so you can actually take the board out. Right. Screwdrivers. That's not right. There we go. So tempted to do a Model B Master Combi mod. Now you've told me, Rich. It's just like, yeah, that's a thing. So tempted. Right, and there's a little. Let's get a flathead. Yeah, that's not a flathead. Neither is that. Hang on. There we go. Just a little tab that you just have to take off here. Come on. There we go. That's off. And then 2 more screws just down the bottom here. So the only thing I'm short of, I think, is power supplies. So I'm just thinking, because I have a sort of a pretty grotty Model B, and I've got that spare master which I showed you. So possibly, so let's just take the keyboard out. So it's a proper nice keyboards. These, you know, they're proper mechanical switch keyboards. One of them, very distinctive BBC Micro sound. Let's just take that out a minute. So that's the speaker, which just plugs just here. So we'll just take that one out. So with the NULA design, you had to tap over here, and you had to tap onto a very particular pin just over here for it to work. And then this is the battery pack that I put in at the time, and it wasn't a particularly good job, if I'm honest with you, so sort of not surprised it's become unreliable. Just really, I don't really want to have to take all these different connectors out for the power supplies. I just want to lift the board up to have a quick look on the underside just to check where we're at. So screw there, which I fixed the earthing screw, and then you have to take these out either side. These are the cartridge ports. Can actually have a good look at the full set of ROMs in this at the moment. One more I've forgotten about hiding, or was that it? Can't remember. It's a long time since I've taken one of these apart, so no, I think that's it. So just have to pull it out. BBC Micros have additional buses underneath for connecting disk drives, printers, etc. They hide under the machine in these slots, so you get all the ports on the back and all this expandability on the front. So you just have to make sure you take those out properly, and there's nothing obviously plugged in. So I just want to very carefully just have a look on the underside where I did some work, and yeah, not amazing, which is what I feared, and this is kind of purely my fault. So I'm just going to rest the board. It probably doesn't show up on the camera that well. Let me just zoom in. So just excuse me while I'll explain what I did, and it was a novice mistake. Okay. Can't really move that. I need to see if I can send you in. There we go. Okay. So you'll notice where I've done the work, it's looking a bit terrible and crusty, and that's because I actually got it here. I used this flux, which is plumbing flux paste, and for electrics or electronics, that's a bit of a no-no, because if you don't wash it off properly, it creates a mess. It actually starts to eat and corrode, which is what's going on here. Now, I don't think that's too bad, but we definitely want to try and clean that up. All I could just put my hands up and say I made a bit of a mistake there, which wasn't, I wouldn't say it wasn't obvious at the time, but I kind of naively thought it wasn't going to be an issue, and it's an issue. So we kind of want to get that looked at. And I'm just searching for, I've got my alcohol here. This is Surgical Spirit, which will do the trick. So I'm just going to pour a little bit just into the cap. That's all you need, don't need a lot. I've got some, well, we call them cotton buds, but I think over in the States you call them Q-tips. basically, there we are. And we just want to go, might need a bit more here. And I just really want to just clean up. The only snag is it starts to tear up the cotton quite bad, so. Really, it's just, I just want to clean this up a bit so it doesn't look so terrible. Yeah, it's not looking amazing, that. I'm tempted. Sorry, I appreciate you can't see. I'm tempted to reflow that, you know. The good news is that it's not, it doesn't appear to have done any damage, so. But yeah, as I said, don't use, I mean, the stuff I use now, which I've shown you before on the channel, is Topnic RF800, so it's alcohol-based flux. So, and that stuff's brilliant, and it evaporates and it doesn't corrode, and it doesn't leave residues, or the residues it does leave doesn't start crusting up. Ideally, what you really want is IPA. Yeah, Richard's just in the chat, just suggesting that perhaps remove this and resolder. Yeah. Possibly, yeah. I think I agree with you, actually. I think I'm just checking just to see. Again, everything is so dusty, which is the problem, but let's just have a quick check. Where are we? I mean, it's not terrible. That one there is not good. That one there is not good at all. Something sharp and pokey. Hang on. Yeah, I agree. I think we'll reflow. Oh, let me just. Oh, I've just realised I've just screwed that back on with. Oh, never mind. Right, let me just get some tissue a minute. You know, while I think about it, I think I've done exactly the same thing when I did some repairs in those cub monitors. So, as I said at the start, I don't want to go into those live just for the safety reasons. This isn't so bad, but also careful not to get paper. Oh yeah, good point. Well, actually, I've still got the yeah. Probably should unplug it really, but oh. Come on. Try not to bend it. Really, I should unplug it all. Well, I remember, of course I remember how it goes. Yeah, red at top. Let's take unplug, I think. So one thing about the Acorn design I never liked were these spade type plugs. I'll take our battery out. Right, so just take them, well, what's left in the machine, the bottom case basically, just out of the way a minute. Back on, there we go. That's a bit better. That's a bit better. There we are. Okay, so this is the area we're looking at. So yeah, I think we'll put a bit of flux on that. Solder punch here. So let's what I'll probably do is I'll put some fresh solder on and then I'll take that off and then do a proper resolder. Yeah, it's really not wanting to stick, is it? Hang on a minute. Not happy at all. Is there actually anything to... I'm just seeing if there's actually any veers in there, in all honesty. The soldering iron appears purple on camera because it's giving off infrared, which these cameras I'm using don't filter out. So that's why you do get a strange purple hue with ultraviolet infrared light. So because it's giving off a light profile with heat, and that's why it looks a little strange on camera. Blooming. There we go. Yeah, so it is a bit strange, but yeah, it's just because these cameras said they're designed as their main purpose is they're meant to be security cameras, so they're meant to run in an infrared mode at night. You can't do anything about it, it's just how it is, but it does look a little strange. I mean, obviously I can't see that in reality, but yeah, it's giving off a strange hue. Sometimes if I'm doing any recording, normally when I'm recording it's at night, or I shuttle the curtains and we run off artificial lights and it's fine. If I'm running or I'm doing some recording and there's daylight coming into the room, you'll get there'll be like a strange, again, a sort of purpley hue that will start appearing on things, and that's just the sunlight giving out rays that we're seeing outside the normal spectrum. So I'm a little concerned with this, that they might, oh my goodness, we may have a problem here, which is I'm not even sure if there's any, I did think, oh, the corrosion is fine, don't worry, but I wonder if it's just eaten away the actual vias. In that case, we have a severe problem on our hands. So that the machine graphically was working, so I think I really need to try and get some of this solder off. Oh no, we're okay. Panic over. Panic over. Let me just show you so you can see a bit clearer. Basically, there's just a lot of where's it? Right. Basically, there's a lot of corroded stuff. So I'll just point to what I'm working at. Okay, so you can see where are we? This one here. So you can see that metal ring. Okay, so next to it, you see it's very dull. Zooming it up. So, and I'm worried that there isn't the via. The via is a little ring that you soldered to, and I was just concerned they might have disappeared, but luckily they are underneath this gunk. So it's just a case of cleaning all this out, and we'll do a complete resolder, which is what Richard suggested. Which, yeah, really pleased you're on the, I say on the call. I'm really pleased you're in the chat, Richard. Huge help tonight. When I'm just looking at what I did, you know, nearly 10 years ago and gone, okay, that was a stupid thing to have done. Anything good on telly tonight, or are we all good watching me solder? I don't know about you, I'm feeling like a tea break coming on in a minute. I'm going to need to try and reflow these. You see how it's balling up? It's not actually sticking. There we go. That's looking better. Just make sure we get rid of excess stuff. Can't speak on these streams, it's terrible. We're just saying TV is shocking at the best of times. So we'll watch me desolder a mistake from nearly a decade ago with my luminous purple soldering iron. Yeah. When is the dates for the LAN party at the Milton Keynes Bletchley Park? By the way, I know it's June, isn't it? I forgot to write what the dates were for it. But I am, as I said in the intro, I am thinking about trying to make that. Oh, cheers, Richie. Yeah, June the 7th and 8th. Yeah, I should. That's the weekend then, isn't it? Saturday, Sunday. Yeah. I said I was contemplating, because I did 1 year. The first year they did it, sorry. I did like 1 day. I'm contemplating now doing it for, you know, stay overnight. Nothing fancy like a, you know, travel lodge or something nearby. And I can, you know, hang out for the day with my machine that may or may not be fine and working by this point. I probably need to go over and have a look at Stardot as well, which is the Acorn forums online, because I very rare. Do you know what? I have an account on there and everything. I so rarely log in. That's where all the interesting stuff happens, and I miss most of it because I don't read the damn website enough. Speaking of which, I did start leaving some comment posts on Brian's Night Owl BBS the other night. This was the kind of beginnings of my general wonderings when I kind of had a realization that I kind of need to get some new exhibiting content ready. And I was like, So I put a comment. I won't talk about what it was. You can go on and have a look yourself on Night Owl. But I was a bit like, I need to think about what I'm doing. I need some more flux on this. It's cleaning up though. It is cleaning up, but so I'm not taking the socket out. I just want to clean up the pins. But the thing is, I said this isn't the only thing I've soldered like this, so huge mistake on my part. Of course, it all goes wrong. Now I'll just cut the live stream. Cut the live stream, pretend it didn't happen. The beauty of doing the normal edit videos as opposed to live streams. Problem I've got is there's no time to edit anything at the moment. So hence, let's do it live. That's a good idea. To excuse the dog. I'm trying to think, have I even got a glass fibre pen? Because I have a thing I might need a glass fibre pen on this. Got them upstairs, but that's no good. I'm trying to think, did I see one? Problem is you only get splinters everywhere, so just excuse me a moment. Let's have a quick rummage. They're probably all upstairs in the attic, you know. And the reason for that being is I use them for cleaning model locomotive wheels because they get dirty with running on the track, and electrical picks up a lot of dirt. So, do you know what? I don't think I've got one to hand. That'll probably all upstairs. And I went through this earlier, so I would have known if I'd had one. Damn it. Took a brush though. I used to have one down here, you know. I think I must have taken it upstairs. Where are we? Before I was preparing to modify my Bead Model B version 3 motherboard, issue 3, yeah, to accept the Kenneth Candle speech ROM, I read somewhere that the Bead's motherboard tracks weren't strong enough to withstand the solder sucker, but I ignored it and it seemed fine. Yeah, but the thing is, this is a later revision. I mean, this is a later board, so this was kind of Olivetti Acorn territory when they made these, so I think we're fine. It's just a case of trying to clean up, really. Such a mess. Just one and just scrape some of this off. If I have to go and get me, I probably need to go and get the proper tools, really. Yeah. It's taking a very long time to get anywhere. creating a perfect little solder bridge now. Right. Make sure we got all the it is cleaning up. It's just taking a bit of a time to. There we go. Yeah, I know. It's a habit. Don't worry. Dropping solder on the PCB. I know it's a bad habit. Look, you've not come for a masterclass in how to do things, are you? Because I get enough flack whenever I do this stuff like this. Always. I even get flack at work from colleagues that occasionally watch me, and then I get flack for things I've done. So it's bad enough having it like on comments in the chat, and then people that possibly, because one or two of my colleagues may well be watching this, they have chimed in before, and then I get it the next day or whatever, or Monday when we're back. And then they're like, yeah, we watched you, and you can't do this, and you can't do that, and what the hell were you doing that night? And, so it just gets to the point where you're like, right, fine, I'm not doing anything on YouTube anymore. Can't take the criticism. No, it's fine. You know what, I'm going to have to go and get the glass fibre brush, people. Because this, going to be here all night, and I could end up breaking something without the right tools. Right, what we're going to do is, I can hear a kettle going downstairs actually, so I need a cup of tea. I'm going to go and get the glass fibre brush that I know where one is, which is up in the attic, unfortunately, where the trains are. So let's go for a tea break. I will leave you with some looping pages from Night Owl BBS once again. Hope I'll be as quick as I can, 10 minutes tops, and we'll be back and we'll try and get this working, or at least get this tidied up, and then we can get on with what we were meant to be doing this evening. So I guess I'll be right back very shortly. sorry to interrupt there. I know you're enjoying the music. Welcome back. Thank you everyone for sticking around. Fresh cup of tea is now in hand, and I've actually found some tools and things that are hiding upstairs. So this is what I was talking about. Glass fibre brush to make lots of little glass fibre splinters that are going to get in my fingers, and it's going to be miserable, but should be able to just use this to clean up. Again, I appreciate you probably can't see that well. Do have to be careful not to take too much of the silk screen off. You can actually see the sort of the splinter dust it creates, which is horrible. So we'll just drop things, brush that way. Let's have a look. How's that looking? We're getting there. To be honest with you, I think it would take a lot to go through the silk screen, so but we'll be alright. You can see how that's cleaned up. You can actually now see basically the copper again. It's just going to create splinters everywhere now. That's why I hate using these. Let's just put a bit of spirit back on that. Get another Q-tip from, cotton buds, sorry, as we call them. But I find with this channel, because it's international, a lot of stuff I'm having to convert into kind of international English or aka American. So otherwise, a big chunk of the audience don't understand what I'm saying. I've had this where I've gone on, I sometimes promote things like the Cocoa Nation, which is a US/Canadian show, and I think I accidentally said, they were talking about time zones when they do their gaming challenge stream, which is separate to the main program, and I kind of said, oh, that kind of works out because it's sort of like tea time for us, and I didn't know what I was talking about, and it sort of had to be translated by someone else who was British as well, so that, dinner time or evening meal kind of things. Okay, yeah, sorry, I kind of joke, yeah, slipped into my colloquial British ways, so do end up having to translate. We talked about this the other week when we've had the American student visitors, and we've had to translate, car park into parking lots, and schools into grades, not year groups as they are here. Just things like that, really. Which is fine, I don't mind doing. It's looking better. Done it again. Hang on, sorry. Surgical spirit pouring everywhere. Oh, God. Do you know what? You can't see that, so if I just kept quiet, you wouldn't know there's a little spillage going on. just off camera over here. Right, there we are. Okay. See, none of the other big tech YouTubers, because they don't do anything live normally, you know, you never see the mistakes. For me, yeah, let's do it live and F up massively. Okay. At least it was just the Stage Spirit I spilt there, not the flux. Alright, let's try again then. So... yeah, I mean, that's cleaned up quite nicely. So hopefully we can now just reflow. This will be the final one. I'm just going to reapply. Solder. I'm not expecting any problems, to be honest with you. Probably should get an extractor in here, really. We have to use extractors at work for health and safety. And when I first started, because I was so used to like working at home, I kind of forgot and got told off for not using, you know, not being in a safe, you know, environment. And of course, at work, we have a lot more strict legal requirements, and it's my job to enforce those requirements as well. So I'm the one who has to go around telling other people off, which isn't pretty when you're like, you know, do as I say, not as I do sort of thing. And by the way, yes, you can hear budgies squawking in the background. That one's not great. And that one over there is a bit problematic. Go on. Actually, is there anything there? Has that pushed the pin through the other end? Hang on. What's gone on there? Yes, it has. Thought it had. Damn it. So basically one of the pins has pushed up on the socket from getting warm, so I need to... damn it. Hang on. Oh, just bear with me. That's not what I want. That's what I want. So pointy. This is going to be a bit tricky and not very good on camera, but just bear with me. So I need to... yeah, that's what I'm going to do, Richard. Just yeah, okay. Try not to do it with my finger, basically. It's one of those high quality sockets as well, so I'm surprised it's done that, but I thought it didn't look right when I was doing it. Damn it. Right. Ow. Yeah, that ain't gonna work. Ouch. Hang on. So basically it's just this one here has lifted. Yeah, let me cut it out of the way over there a minute. I don't know if I shouldn't do this really, but I don't know if I can just force it through the top. Probably not. Probably not a good idea. Damn it. It's not great. Just need something to push down on that and then heat up from the other side. as Richard has just said. So this ain't going to be pretty, but just bear with me. I'm trying to figure out how to do this. So, apologies for the that's not going to work. That's not going to work. Damn it. Can you believe that's happened? Hang on. Hoping it's still electrically connected, even if we've got this little problem, because I need to put a lot of force on that. Let's try and do it from the top again. Ah, there we go. Got it. Oops. Card. Check the other side again. Yeah, we're looking alright. Just might do just a little bit of a retrace. Touch up, sorry. Okay. There we go. Yeah, good suggestion, Martin. As you've just seen, I think we're there. But that was, yeah. Just one quick look. I appreciate I'm all the way down here, but just bear with me. Yeah. Just a quick check. That's looking better than it was anyway. Okay, that should be fine. Famous last words, but we should be fine with that. Right, let's put our card back in. Slightly bent a pin there, just here. Looking all right. There we go. Just thinking, why did I desolder that when... Do you know what? Because I was thinking Model B, but I'm more used to working on. And with Model Bs, you do have to desolder that. On Masters, you don't, do you? So, just thinking, why did I desolder that? That makes no sense. Let's just pop that back on. Get the pliers to do that. Pretty nasty solder on this, actually. That's That's not on at all well. Put some, without melting everything, just put some clean on. Ugh. Good God. This is definitely not me, by the way. This is how it... Oh, God, look at that. How it came. Yeah. I'm just going to cut and redo this bit of cable because that's just horrible. There we go. Give it a little twist. Just reflow with solder. There we go. Is that on? Yeah, that's on. There we go. Okay. There we go. Right, that's back on. Again, the only reason I took it off without thinking was, well, for reasons I've already explained. On the BBC Master, BBC Model B, you do have to disconnect this before you can take the board out. I forgot on the 128s the whole panel comes out with the board, so less of an issue. Right. By the way, we're all right for time tonight, so I'm happy to keep going because this is getting rather involved. I've just noticed that when I bought this, I've done exactly the same thing. See, it's all crusty. I've done exactly the same thing on the adapter. So we'll just park the board out of the way for the minute. This hopefully be a bit simpler to do, so it's just a case of cleaning it up again. And remembering to actually not to tip your surgical spirit everywhere. Yeah, so I know I did this same method. I'm trying to think, what else did I do with it? Did this that's important? I think the cub monitor / monitors might have issues. Because I'd like to run the CLTs again after because I haven't done that in a while. Let's just try and clean these up a bit. basically I'm just using the surgical spirit here just to keep all the fibres and the dust down. Just looking a little bit better. I will absolutely get one of these bits in my fingers for the end tonight, I tell you. Let's pop that out of the way. This is what I mean about, yeah, bit of a spillage going on, I'm afraid. Right, flux. Not too bad, but see how bad it looks the other side. Versus what I've just, was out of focus, but what I've just cleaned up, which isn't looking too bad, so. So we'll just add new solder to the top and I'll take it all off again. As I said at the start, unfortunately this is just my doing, I'm afraid. Using completely the wrong flux. Solder sucker. I think, but I don't think it's in service now. I think when the Pi Zeros came out originally, I have a feeling that I actually soldered one of those up like this as well, well, I say by accident, at fault to myself, basically. But I think that Pi then, for unrelated reasons, blew up or shorted or something, and so isn't in service anymore. Okay. That's not looking too bad now, actually. Crusty at the end though. It is cleaning up though. That's better. Okay, yeah. So you can see we're actually cleaning up really quite nicely. Oops. As opposed to stay to the other end. So we'll just reflux that again. Just see if anyone's still here. Yeah. So But no, my thinking, I said, is I want to get my Acorn fleet kind of back in a sort of position. There's, you know, there's stuff going on, there's stuff I enjoy doing, and I kind of just got, I wouldn't say sidelined, but obviously there were other interests. And then obviously, for those of you that know the history, or as much as I can legally say, you know, doing kind of like commercial work as an independent at the time for some of the Acorn traders and companies slightly took it out of me, and I kind of just sort of felt it wasn't going anywhere, you know. But that's different to the Beeb scene. But now I'm sort of thinking, well, you know, this is what I know, and it'd be nice to kind of, you know, I've got these machines and they're not come on. So it's one hit's being really awkward. And it's nice to have, you know, this machines and software and the stuff that I used to enjoy and still do enjoy. You know, back out and going to shows, and you know, people love seeing the BBC Micros. Common as muck for this country, but people absolutely love seeing them. So, it's interesting how all my pins are now slightly out of kilter, but I think that'll be all right. Yeah, that's looking all right. Now I just have to clean up the other side again. It's amazing how it just gets through one of these brush heads very quickly. It's not looking too bad. But no, but with the information we've learnt tonight from Richard, and thanks once again for that, I'm tempted to put a master board in a Model B, make a slightly smaller footprint master system. That would be kind of cool. As I did it properly this time, didn't mess it up. Just put some flux back on. Yeah, this one's not particularly happy. splintering me a finger. Which I knew would happen. Just clean off the excess there. Try cleaning again. That's just creating tons of glass fibre debris. Running out of pen there. He's getting there. By the way, I don't think any of this that we've got distracted doing is anything to do with why the machine won't keep its settings. I've got glass fibre bits all in my... That's going to be an absolute... That's going to be a complete pain this evening. Probably need to let that dry out before we do anything else. Where's the thing gone? There we are. You can sort of see we're getting there. Also making a hell of a mess on the desk. Let's just put some more flicks down. There we go. It's getting there. Okay. I'm going to try and just take this out one last time, this side. Just this one here that's Being a bit awkward. There we go. That's now cleaning up. Just trying to get rid of the debris. Okay, that's looking better. Right, so hopefully we can just put a final layer on now. Come on. There we go. Yeah, it's not perfect, but it'll do. There we go. Right, so that's the pins. Oops, that's the pins corrected. Back on the adapter, so that's now cleaned up. It should be absolutely fine. Just sort of shunt the mess over there. Remember to tip the IPA back into its IPA. Yeah, it's IPA, isn't it? There we go. Surgical spirit in my kit. I didn't mean to do that. Shit. Sorry, excuse the bad language. Just hang on. Right. Let me just wash my hands, get some more kitchen towel. 1 minute. So try not to swear on this channel, but occasionally you're just like, what the hell am I doing? You know. Okay. So, a bit of luck. Bring back our board. There we go. And we can put our card back in, which neatly sits over the top of the annual A card. There we go. And to complete the stack, you then have the Raspberry Pi that sits into this GPIO socket here. Sorry, just having a swig of tea while we keep going. And I was thinking, where is the Raspberry Pi? So this one's missing the Ethernet connector. It's also missing the Raspberry Pi. And I was like, where is the Raspberry Pis for them? And then I found this box labelled BBC, and inside I found the bits including this Model A, Model A Plus, which was actually used, and it still has the SD card in it. This is used for the PipeTube Direct and was dedicated to this particular machine. So sat upside down. No issues on their soldering, it's done by machine. So that sits upside down like that. And then that was the PipeTube Direct interface with SD card. 32 gig card I used on this. Doesn't need a 32 gig card. That's a huge card for in there. And that then basically turns this into theoretically turns this into a virtual BBC Master 512. So that's that done. Everything else looks all right. Hopefully, this should be working fine, or it should at least boot back up. Let's just check on the underside. Yes, there's a bit of rework, but it's all right. Okay, so let's zoom you back out. There we go. Let's put this back in. I know some of the battery pack is completely falling out, so we'll go and grab that in a minute. Let's put this board back into the case. Pop the board down there. Computer back, or base I should say, the case back in. Make sure also that these little connectors are not sprayed open, actually closed, otherwise it won't go back through the holes. Okay. Connects back in to there. We're good. Yep, that looks like we're all right, and we're back in. There we are. So, if I can remember which screw goes where, let's put the screws back in. So, let's put these back in here. Get the correct screwdriver for this. Which is that one. I won't over tighten this because you just know we'll be back in here again shortly when this doesn't work. I always did find the grounding plane system a little bit, what's the word, feeble on these. That goes in there. And then that one, I think it's, yeah, I think that's the way it goes. So you're back in and secure, which is good. Keyboard, which is just dusty. Actually, before I put the keyboard in, let's put the power back in. That might be a clever idea. So red goes to top. It's just these spade type connectors. Ground's always on bottom. purple was that like -5 or something for sound? I'm trying to remember now. There we go. Something a bit like that. Keyboard in, like that. Yes, I thought it. Thanks, Richard. Yeah, I thought it was -5. What are people's views on these like USB-C type supply things I've seen for the BBC Micros? I mean, they're easy enough to build. Most of this is just 5 volts or -5 volts. I'm assuming -5 volts is just the polarity swapped. I mean, obviously you don't have the 12 volts that's needed for driving floppy drives, but you wouldn't. I mean, if you're going to run with like a modern USB supply or something, they're silly, yeah. I wasn't keen on the idea of those, in all honesty. I mean, I was saying, I guess it would work if you didn't need 12 volts or 12 volt line. They advertise them as a power supply, but they're not. They're just an adapter. So when you adapter what? So is it? Because I've never looked into them properly, because I was just like, that doesn't seem right. But oh, I see. The supply is not. They're just. Oh, okay, yeah, I'm with you. Right. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, you're right. So it's the power. The transformer bit switches from this to the a bit like, you can't see him off camera, but a bit like the sort of these kind of supplies, and then basically you're running USB in, and then that's just taking your 5 volts. I mean, I could build one of those, in all honesty. It might be interesting to see. I mean, as long as you're not trying to run floppy drives, I guess. It would be interesting to test, but so it does invert it. 5 volts give you -5. Yeah. So as long as you weren't trying to run the disk drives, I guess it might be all right. Depends what the ampage is, because you need at least 2 amp. People running from a charger. Yeah, like I just shown, charger, not a power supply. Yeah, no, fair point. Very fair point. Yeah. Yeah, but I'd be curious about trying that. I think, modern hybrid machine, it was not going to run on disk drives. That would be interesting. Right. Just because I'm paranoid, and I'm me, let's just continuity meter, multimeter, sorry, check continuity mode. Just because we can, and I just want to make sure that I haven't shorted anything. If we're going to try and do a power up this evening, so voltage, common, continuity mode. Anybody home? Or are we flat? Oh no, we are. We're there. Right. Just want to check these aren't shorted together. Well, that's 5 volts. That's ground. So those would be shorted together because they're all the same line. That shouldn't be. That shouldn't be coming back as that's 0 and 5. Really? Okay, that's not great. Really? The reason I'm doing this now is just to see if it's safe to try and power up, or if we're going to have to let this dry out. Because I think the surgical spirit is conductive. So obviously you don't want liquids running around when you're powering up, so I was just seeing what state we're in. Don't understand why is that doing that for? Oh, hang on. Really? Where's my brush gone? Of course, could always power up without the card in, I guess. Could always power up without this in. It's not, obviously it's an additional thing, it's not essential, but really, is that really shorting? See, that's now fine. Sorry, I appreciate this is off camera, but just give me a minute. But it seems to suggest it's shorted here. That can't be right. Don't think that would work, actually. Okay, fine. Really? Should oh, where are we? Should 0 and 5 there be shorted like that? Should it be shorted? That can't be right. Let's just try that one more time. No, that's okay, Richard. No problem. Just offering to go and check, but right. But 5 volts to ground there is not. I wonder if this is an error on the silk screen, you know. So 5 volts from there. Sorry, I appreciate this is off camera. Just bear with me. Five volts to there is. But 5 volts to there isn't. What is is going on with this? That is bizarre. So these two here are measuring continuity, but they're not measuring continuity across. Right, okay, do you know what? Let's just put that to one side for now. So I can figure out what on earth is going on with that. Let's take that off. Let's take our BNC lead, put that in. Screen, we'll just pull the machine down a bit so you can see the screen. Try and put that in a position that you can see. There we go. Okay. Let's, where are we? Let's power up and make big expensive bang and then wish we'd never done this. Let's just take the soldering iron off a minute because I need the plug sockets. I haven't got enough plug sockets. So I said I've done the reefers in this. That's all I've done. Right. Let's power on. Oh, okay. Obviously we didn't get a beep because the speaker isn't in, but you can see on the screen it says Acorn, so that's a good sign. If I just shift brake, yeah, there we go, and then you get that this is not a language error, and it goes straight to the supervisor, which is the star prompt, which is supervisor mode. So that's what I was getting before, and it also defaults into mode 2. So without battery backup, that's as far as the machine goes, and if the battery fails, that's all you get. And I don't think you can call... You can try calling basic, and it will just hang, because the ROMs aren't actually initialized. You have to manually initialize all the ROMs. So hold R on power. Yeah, I knew that. I'd forgotten that. Now it's saying press brake to continue. Okay, there we are. So we've defaulted into mode. We defaulted into mode 0. We're just sort of there we are. So you can see we're just sort of hanging now. Hello. Hang on, I can't do this and hold that at the same time. There, I'm going to put this, hang on, just so you can see it really. There we go. Right, that works. Okay. So we'll just do another paracycle. Press brake to continue. And it just does this whole hanging. Yeah. Yeah, of course this will be. Do you know what? I could go and wrench the change the thing over, couldn't I, from the newer board? Space and control. Do you know what? I kind of remembered all this and I've forgotten it. So I'm so glad you're here. Control. Spacebar control, brake. No. Nope, doesn't want to know. Pain in the butt. The good news is, and there is good news from this. So the good news is obviously that the rework, we wouldn't be seeing any of this had this had an issue. So haven't broken it that badly. There's no point putting the GoPro back in because until we get this sorted, it won't work. So this is kind of, you know, you get kind of stuck. I'll just do a try a manual restart again. Yeah. It's not happy. It's not happy, Richard. So what we should probably do, try F and brake. Let's just give it a minute. Let's give it a minute. Yeah. So yeah, pain in the ass. Absolute pain in the ass. And I don't know what's gone wrong that it won't hold. Well, it's holding something because it's obviously changed, you know. Hold down R again. Back click, by the way, is the relay. Press brake. CMOS RAM reset. Press brake to continue. Of course, would you get this if there was no battery backup, I wonder? And F brake. No. That's shift control brake. Let go. No. So frequently it tries to, this is just reading on the chat what Rich is saying. So frequently it tries to mount the ADFS disk after reset. Space and brake or F and brake should bypass that. Okay. Space brake, come on. Stop giving me jip. Wouldn't have anything to do with the turbo MMC I've got on board causing a problem, would it? Don't know if we need to maybe take all these out to just force it down to the base, which we could do. Could. Oh, what was that? Did you see that? Tapped over here. And now we properly crashed. So yeah, we're not happy. We're not happy. Yeah, you don't think it should matter then? So how do we carry on from this point then? That's interesting. Bear in mind, the battery is not attached, so it's a bit broke basically. Oh, this is fun. Right, we turned it off. So we hold down R. We reset. That bit works. It says press brake to continue. I press brake. I press F brake. I press space brake. Space control brake. F control brake, which I don't think is the thing. No. No. R brake, that's not a thing either, and it just sort of hangs. So you do start to wonder, is something broken, as in badly broken? I wouldn't. Yeah, but it wouldn't be that badly broken. Because if it was that badly broken, then basically, if it was this badly broken, we wouldn't be getting this far, would we? So this was the cobbled together contraption, which is an utter embarrassment that I did. I'm beginning to understand why that might not have worked. God, yeah. That might quite explain why it didn't work properly. So I think we need to... So basically, with the replacement... Oh, the ADFS badge just appeared. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Wait for it for another minute. No, I'm impatient. We want it now. Yeah, basically, I hashed this up as well. But I've done a few things that aren't great, actually. So I need to... But basically, what happens is that there is a diode and there is a resistor in this pack, okay? And this stops the beep from trying to recharge the battery. Because remember, it's designed to work with a lithium that's meant to be sitting here. Yeah? So it can't recharge non-rechargeable batteries. There are packs you can now buy online that do a much better job than this hack job. I'm beginning to understand why my CMOS probably didn't work, because the battery backup isn't working properly. These batteries are probably fine. I'd only replaced them. Well, I'm going to say they're fine. I replaced them 2 years ago. It might be. I'll test them, and it might be worth putting a fresh set in. And I need to take all this tape off. I have got new diodes and new resistors if we need to, and then just rewire how this works. So. Okay, so we're still waiting to see what's happening over here. But yeah, so I think we'll be all right. I get, originally I was put off from the Masters because of the batteries. I thought, oh, this is just going to be a pain. So I kind of stuck with the Model Bs. Now at school, we had both. So we had Model Bs, we had Masters, and we also had Master Compacts even. Because I think I've explained this a million times before, but basically our school, being a poor area, poor school, we just got all the hand-me-downs. So we were just full right into the way past the 90s, into the 2000s. Both my primary and my secondary school, just full of BBC Micros. Not doing programming. I've said this a million times. Said this last week. We didn't do programming, but that's taken a very long time to come up. I should be patient and wait a bit longer, but yeah. Or could I possibly reset it? Or just hit break and see what it does? I don't know. Thing is, there's no way of saving any of this because we haven't got the battery back up, so... Oh dear. Have you ever seen this behaviour before? Yes, that's what I mean. It should have come to a prompt by now. Let's hit break. Yeah, something's just not quite right, is it? Do you know what? I know you said it shouldn't matter. I'm really tempted to take the ROMs out. Just because this behaviour, it just seems to be getting stuck on something. And of course, what I've got going on is, third-party ROMs, which might be having an effect. I don't have a proper chip puller, so if you're squeamish, you might want to look away. Let's try and get something suitable for doing this that's not going to smash everything to bits. Right, there we are. I'll do. So this one I put in. This is the ANFS filing system ROM. Sort of that came out a bit loose. So that's the one I put in for joining the Ethernet LAN party 2 years ago now. So I'll pop that to one side. Turbo MMC, which isn't necessary. It's for using the SD card MMC system through the user port, but it does tie your user port up. I don't tend to use it on this because the user port is also where your mouse goes. So, and then NULA, which is the ROM chip for the NULA. It doesn't actually need it to work, so I've just taken those out. I might just, I think this was working, but let's just take it out. I might reseat it. So this is actually the only EEPROM you need. If I can get that out, well, that's in stiff. There we go. Try not to bend it up. So I've just caught one of the legs, but it's not a big problem. Just on the end there. I mean, it's working, so that isn't the problem. So let's just reseat that back in. You can always swap it out with one of the other machines if necessary. Right. I'm just going to do a straight power up, see what that does. So see how it's jumped straight to ADFS. Space brake, brake, F brake, F brake. Same sort of behaviour, but I wonder if this happens if it behaves like this if it doesn't have battery backup. Yeah, that's an odd one. But it's just doing that strange blip. Okay, well, I'm stuffed. That's control brake. Nope. Try the R reset again. R brake. Oh, you mean power down, reset. Yeah, sorry, I know what you mean. Right, press brake to continue. I mean, there's nothing else in this that couldn't be sick. It's all soldered in, so power off. Power off. No, yes. Wait. Dear. Yeah, it's not like there's. I mean, it's in. Clearly, it's working. We wouldn't be having video modes working if we didn't have the NULA working. don't know about you, but I'm a bit stumped on this one. I suppose what we could do is we power off, take this out carefully. It's not happy in there, I'll tell you. I need to get a chip puller really. Oh, D, we'll try. Do you want me to try D brake? All right, let's do that then. We'll try that, because what I was going to do, I was going to take this out and swap it out for the other EEPROM in the slightly newer machine, just to see if that was the issue. But okay, yeah, we'll do that then. So there we go, Acorn 11. Yep, so that's gone into right. Still the same behavior. Yeah, but it wouldn't boot. It wouldn't boot basic though, would it, Richard? Because it would just go into supervisor mode, wouldn't it? He says, like he knows what he's talking about. What I was going to show you, and let's just, while that's doing something, let's just go to, this is a page online I was looking at, and yeah, well, you're saying about it going, yeah, I would have thought it would just gone no language. Behavior's changed, but what's it saving it to? Because there's no battery backup. That's the point I'm trying to make. But anyway, right. Anyway, yes. So this is bit of information which talks about the circuit. You can see the resistor and the diode in circuit. So configuration. So master 2 configuration. First carry out a factory reset by switching it on with the R key. Hold down. Press brake to continue. Press brake, you have a loud beep. Hold down Control D and press brake. Ah, hang on. Hang on. We're onto something. So, Control D brake. Hey, there we go. There we go. It's on the website. Yay, there we are. Right, it's not broken. But can you see what I'm getting at? That these 128s, if they don't have battery backup, they're just, ugh. Yeah. You don't get this issue. Yeah, now we need to configure it. So configure. Configure. Dot and then language 12. Now we have to break again, don't we? And then we go basic, and there's basic. Yay, we got basic, and then we can put it into mode 7, teletext mode. and then everyone can see what's going on, and now the computer sort of works. So we haven't broken it. This will obviously need all setting back up again, the tube interface. But I'm just a bit concerned about why is that shorting. Is it a short or is it just a... So it's just here on the end. Oh yeah, CO mode 7. Yeah, it's all one thing at a time. Hang on. Yeah, so if we go back to the web browser, it's actually the setup. You can see it here. So prompt, and then you've got prompt ST, and then you can and it gives you the setup here. But there's no point doing the setup because I haven't got battery backup, which means it won't remember any of this until I get the battery backup sorted out. Okay, no, that's fine. We're there. Thank you for your help all the same, Richard. That's most appreciated. I knew it was something, just, yeah. So we're good. We're good. Now, where was I? Yeah, I just want to test. I just want to do a continuity test on this, which I appreciate you can't see because it's just off camera. But what did I do with my meter? Oh, it's down here. When I'm doing live stream, I tend to just end up throwing things on the floor. It's terrible. But right, power back on. Continuity mode. There we go. I need to put my EEPROMs back in as well now. No, it's still showing shorted. Five volts to ground on this side, isn't 5 volts to 5 volts? Yes. Do you know what? Yes, I know. Don't because it's on hold. That's why I've got the hold button on. Don't worry. It's just there's a hold, so it's holding whatever is in memory from last time. That's 0 to 0, so that's fine. That's really weird. Really, really weird why that's doing that. Just going to try and take the Pi back out if I can. Right, Pi's back out. Let's just take the Pi out in case the Pi was causing the issue. So I'm hitting keys. So I'm sort of working. I should shove this up a little bit. You can see. Just literally, I'm just down here, unfortunately. Slightly off camera trying to do this, but just bear with me. So. So that's me just touching the two 0 volt That's fine. That's actually not doing it anymore. So, bizarre. That's all I can say. Absolutely bizarre. Let's turn that off a minute. And you're not getting, you'd think if it was, you get the behaviour elsewhere, but I'm not, so. Yeah, very, very strange. Oh well. So we'll put that, I'll tell you what, before we put the Pi, let's power down. Let's just pop this back in. Power back up. Okay, that's looking, just bring this back down again so you can see. So that's what you'd expect, which is fine. There you go. Control D brake, straight into basics, it remembers it for a short time. Okay, yeah. So turn that off. Let's put our ROMs back in. I don't really think that needs to go in, you know. Because I've generally tended to use this one actually with floppy disks at the moment. So let's pop all those in. There we go. Right, power back on. Brake. Come on, you were fine a minute ago. Do you know what? That's now changed. Now, there are some link ICs here that you can actually pull to disable. It allows you to soft load. You can basically soft load ROMs from program disk into memory, and you can use them in place of real ROMs for the time that the machine's running. So if I do that, yeah, it's that filing system that's causing the issue. So that's now taken this ROM out of circuit, if you like. And the minute I go Control D, there, yeah. So that's interesting. That's interesting. Right, so far happy. Let's try putting this Pi back in. Okay, let's try powering up again. Raspberry Pi comes on, I can just see the light for it. Control D brake. Yeah, okay. So that's where we're at. It is amazing how time has gone. I've been streaming now for nearly 3 hours. Machine's not dead. We've not done too much mess. Haven't broken too many things. I think we've done all right this evening. Yeah, bit of a different one, bit of a practical one, but nice to start to get this machines back on running. So I need to do this, and I suppose that is just terrible, isn't it? It's embarrassing to look at. So I need to rethink, reconsider my life choices. And yeah, change what we're going to be doing, I think. Basically make that work, and I probably know why it didn't save anything, because it basically broke. So, and also we need to figure out a better way to fit that in there. So that I think is going to be for next time. So as I mentioned, the plan is I'm going to do, hang on, sorry, there's fibers all over this board. So I'm going to be doing basically this machine and possibly the other one here live as 8 till 8. And then we're going to do another Acorn related rebuild project as a video series. And hopefully, if I've got time, because time is, I've literally got the weekends to work on this, or the evenings if I'm not too tired. I've got to look at seeing if we can get the cub monitors back up and running. If I can't or haven't got time, we don't have to run with them. We can run with flat screens. But I'm thinking it would be nice to take some of the original cub monitors and have like full BBC Micro vintage setups, especially for the shows this year. So that's sort of my thinking. So we'll see where we get to. Yeah, there we go. So probably going to start leaving things there, just because I forgot to do it at the start. We'll just say huge thank you. There are our channel members and Patreon backers that support me. There they all are. Huge thank you. You can join them either on Patreon, patreon.com/Wi-Fi Sheep, or alternatively over on YouTube channel members. Prices start from 99 pence all the way up to $2.99. That'll be converted into your local currency. If it can't, you'll see it in US dollars. They're probably still not going, but if they are going, the Coco Nation podcast is well worth dropping in. So if you want to have more retro talk and chat through this evening, they're over on youtube.com/@the_Coco_Nation. Well worth dropping in. Great bunch of people over there. The time is just coming up to 2300 hours, 11 o'clock GMT here in the UK. We're going to call it a night here on 8 till 8. So thank you so much to all of you, especially for Richard, who has been very helpful this evening. I greatly appreciate it, Richard. So thanks so much for stopping by. And also a huge thank you to all the others. So for Martin, for Brian, and who else did we have earlier? The Atagon as well, dropping in. So huge thank you, and really appreciate you coming on chat. We'll do this all again same time next week from roughly 2000 hours GMT, possibly 5-10 minutes later, but it'll be around that time, 8 o'clock. So until then, from me, Tom Williamson, everyone here at Wi-Fi Sheep HQ in Central Shropshire, thank you so much for your company, and I wish you a peaceful night. Good night.